what happened in your own life that you said, "Oh my God, this is really not how the glossy magazines are all portraying it"?
Oh my gosh. I feel like that happened very quick, but I kept it in for a long time because come on, you realize that pretty quick, right?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. But no one
day
speaks
one.
out. That's the
No one
problem.
speaks out. It's like day one. You're like, why didn't anybody tell me about so many things? Um, and for some women, I suppose it does come more naturally than others, and that's great. But for me, oh my God, it was nothing like I thought it would be. I found it really hard. I didn't have a motherly instinct that just kicked into gear the moment I saw my babies. I didn't know what I was doing. I was super stressed out. I had postpartum depression with my first, and then preeclampsia with my twins. So like, you could not have a more like complicated births and complicated pregnancies, and blah blah blah. And I looked around, much like you said, and everybody seemed to just be doing great, and the magazines and the TV shows and all the commercials, and it's like, oh, I love motherhood. And also there's this concept of, you're now a mom, you should just be grateful, for being a mom, because that's kind of like your purpose in the world, and
The
that's
best
what
thing ever.
that's the best thing ever, and that's what you're supposed to do. So, and also we actually struggled to get pregnant. So we did IUI. So, for me, it even felt even more so like, how dare I say that this is hard, or that I'm, there are moments that I'm not happy or whatever, because I couldn't even get pregnant, immediately when I wanted to. So like, I should just be grateful and shut up. And that's kind of where and that's where the blog came out from. And also, I felt like the biggest failure on the planet, because, like I said, I was struggling, and when the twins were born, I turned around to my husband and I said, like, we need help. Like, I need help. My family doesn't live anywhere near to us, so we didn't have a support system. We didn't have a community. Like, we didn't have a support system. So it was like, hired help or I'm dead. It's one or the two. Like, it's either you have a dead wife or we hire the help. And we didn't have a lot of money. Like, we had a tiny bit of savings, and we just used all of the savings on hired help. And that made me feel awful, because there was such a stigma about nannies and moms who hired help, and like, oh, you've got help, so you're cheating and all that type of thing. I think it's much better now, maybe, I hope. But back then I remember feeling like, and I actually wrote about it in the blog, and there was a lot of backlash. I wrote a really nice post about at the time, she was called A Mother's Help. So it's like a nanny who honestly saved my life. And we had this amazing bond. She's now a mother herself. And honestly, my kids are so lucky to have had her for the time that she was with us. But people were so mean about it. Like, they were so mean about it. So anyway, so it came from that place of, I actually have to say the truth. I have to tell my truth, even if people say that I'm a monster. I just have to get it out. I have to say the truth.
Yeah, but I think also in the Western cultures, we have forgotten that. If you look at some other countries in the world where motherhood, there are mothers who are from the community not allowed to work within the first 8 weeks to 3 months, where the entire community takes up all the work. And even if you look back in our history, when we were much closer to our original families, you had aunts and or mothers or grandparents who actually helped those mothers, and now we're completely alone. You're sent away from hospital after 2 days, and then say good night and good luck, basically.
Yeah. Totally. And actually, that isolation you're referring to is such a key thing. I have to say, like, that, impacts women on so many levels, and motherhood is just one level, but it's a very obvious one for sure. And through the online community, I saw that sense of isolation, and how much women actually crave to have that community, because it doesn't exist anymore, or it doesn't exist enough, or it doesn't exist in the Western culture.